But let's go, Rob G. Last night I threw up in my mouth, and it wasn't from the pasta that I ate. It was from the idea that Rob G. Matthew Stafford won the MVP.
Guys, well, yes, if you missed it last night, Matthew Stafford is the NFL MVP. We all kind of expected it. He won by 1 vote over Drake May, who will be playing on Sunday.
Nobody expected that. Would you give me that?
1 vote.
That it was that close?
Yeah, and there's good reason why. It's because we mentioned it last year with the Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson situation. When it comes to All-Pro, whoever wins All-Pro historically wins the MVP. Mm-hmm. Matthew Stafford ran away with first-team All-Pro. However, much like last year, a lot of voters flipped their All-Pro vote from Matthew Stafford to Drake May, which led to the closest MVP vote since 2003. And Rob, something tells me you're not happy about it.
We know you wasn't happy about it.
The voters, they got it wrong. They got Justin Herbert. How does he? Because he's 6 foot tall, 6'4", and looks like a quarterback. He got a vote. Like that was the worst vote.
I don't know where that came from.
Josh Allen got 2 votes, questionable as well, especially the way they fell off at the end. Mm-hmm. Very questionable. At one point, he was kind of in the mix.
Well, you're going to be, you're in the mix. You're the reigning MVP.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But still, it was kind of weird. And the idea that it was so close, to me, speaks volumes. Because his numbers, Stafford's numbers, were way better than Drake May. But there apparently were voters out there who just could not come to terms with voting a guy named Padford as MVP.
Let me check it.
That's why he didn't get an overwhelming number of votes for MVP, because his nickname is Stat Padford. Because everybody knows he's been padding stats since he was in Detroit. He padded stats the last game of the year against the Cardinals after he had that terrible game against Atlanta, and he had that terrible fourth quarter against Seattle when they blew that 16-point fourth quarter lead. The voters got it wrong. I needed 3 other voters to come and make this all right. And I know I've had some year, but when I heard the numbers, I was disappointed, but I felt a lot better because a lot of people went the other way.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you felt a lot better, but I think, and it wasn't a blowout though. Matthew Stafford, you mentioned some of the things that happened, and it didn't happen in the postseason where they've already cast their vote. The stuff that would make people maybe go, oh, it's tight. Like let's say week, 13-ish. 14, you're like, it's close. I got Stafford right now. Look like they're going to run away with the West, maybe run away with the NFC.
They were the number 1 seed.
Right, the tougher
for most
conference,
of the year.
Tougher conference. And then the last few games, they do lose to Seattle. They lose a stinker to Atlanta. And they fight. He has to play against the Cardinals. So I do think some people are like, it's that close. I'm going to give it to Drake May. Or some people may have said it's that close, but maybe I really looked at Drake May's schedule. And so both played spectacularly, but I think they got it right ultimately for me because I'm looking at a guy that was in we just had Christian McCaffrey here. His division was incredibly tough as is. In fact, one of the representatives from his division at the Super Bowl is from his division. So he got to play them twice. He got to play the 49ers
But that doesn't
twice.
seem – I hear that.
But hold on, and I go through the rest of that conference and their schedule. So they played an incredibly difficult schedule, and then Matthew Stafford still goes crazy with the numbers. And his numbers were ballooned compared to anyone else. So I think, again, this was no blowout. This wasn't a year where, there's just no rivals. Maybe a Patrick Mahomes year from a few years ago where you're like, all right, what are we going to do? Or a Lamar Jackson year a couple years back. This is just, to me, where if I were a voter, I would have edged him out in his favor looking at those things.
I don't think so, because I saw a lot of tweets from football writers who were shocked at how close it was. There were some who thought, wow, with his numbers, that many people didn't vote for him.
But it's what you were saying before we got here. It was the close of the season. And you brought up who they played. Was it the Cardinals? Yeah, last week.
When he put those added, what do you have, 4 touchdowns, Rob G, last week or whatever that got him to the
So imagine it's the reverse. He throws 2, and he throws 2 interceptions. You know what I mean? Where it's like, and this is how you finish it? Well, that might have been the 2 or 3 votes. So he and maybe that also was what made him win, was going out there and playing, because maybe if people would have saw the last, you lost to the Falcons. would not have voted well for him. So
I need to start getting a vote. I know I'm in the baseball.
how many Hall of Fame or MVPs and Hall of Fame votes you want?
I need one for the Pro Football Hall of Fame because had I been a voter,
I tell you why they're not going to give it to you.
I wouldn't have. Yes.
No, because you wouldn't have gone into this and saying, let me see, let me look at this, let me look at that. You'd have gone in there with, dang it, I've been calling Stat Padford for 15, 20 years. I got to keep calling him that. And no way I can vote him the MVP. So, no, they ain't giving you a vote. You would have had to go in there. There's no way you could have gone. You know who's an MVP, Rob G? Matthew. You would have stuttered.
No.
Stafford.
But I still feel vindicated that despite the numbers, it wasn't a runaway. That everybody didn't go, oh, Stafford is so much greater. And Drake May's a second-year quarterback. To have his numbers, and his numbers, what did he have, 31 touchdowns? What was his number?
31 touchdowns, 4,300 passing yards. I think another helping factor
passing yards were good, right?
421 rushing yards is a lot of yards.
But I'm still saying it didn't
50,
seem.
Sorry, 450 and 4 touchdowns. So I think that also adds to it. I mean, that's what all these people, the analysts are saying. He's got to be mobile. He's got to use his legs in order to have a chance to win this Super Bowl. So that's what makes Drake May, and that's what makes him scary too moving forward is another guy, and it pains me to say because I said it before, this is why Jared Goff, this might be the last year or so for him because at this point, if your quarterback is at least mostly mobile, you ain't got a quarterback at this point because everybody, Bo Nix, Drake May, Sam Darnold, you name them, they can get out the pocket for the most part.
All right, 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Did the voters get it wrong naming Matthew Stafford over Drake May for MVP? We'll continue that conversation next with you. All right, here we go. Sonny in Laguna Beach in California. You're on the Odd Couple.
Back at the crib.
Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Sonny?
Hi, how you guys doing?
Hey,
Doing great.
Sonny.
How are you?
Doing good. It's early out here, It's only, 4:30?
Yes.
Anyway, Rob, you got it wrong. Matthew is... No, just let me say one thing.
Okay.
Matthew's the MVP because, and don't get upset, and all the fans don't get upset, the Seahawks are going to win, so they felt bad for Drake May and tried to give him a little bump because come Sunday night, Matt Darnold's got it.
Okay. Sonny, there you go. She's making her pick.
Yeah, she said Sam Darnold's going to do it, and Drake may take that, so they gave him sympathy votes.
Well, the football gods, they didn't give me any help with Stafford, but maybe on
Sunday.
Maybe on Sunday.
You know what? I'll tell you later. Well, it does make me a little nervous about this game.
All right, now you change it a little bit.
No, just a little.
Damn do.
Yeah, a little shook.
Thank you, DC.
I'll tell you why.
Ken in Southern California. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Ken?
All right, brothers, but you know what, Calvin? I thought Rob could go a week without messing up. I could almost tolerate him, but today he had to go back to Matt Stafford. And the writers got it right, and old Rob got his panties all tied up in San Francisco. I hope he don't go out on the streets tonight because his panties are all hanging up there.
Okay.
Hey, you and Rob G don't hit the streets tonight.
That's right.
Hey, Ken, at least they're getting straight on the plane. Don't worry about it. We're getting straight on the plane tonight.
Thank you. How about Rocky in South Carolina? You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Rocky?
Well, I'm officially retired now.
And I think the voters got it right. Now, let me say, I wouldn't have had a problem if it had gone the other way. But as I look at the MVP, it's a body of work over a 17-game season. Stafford finished with 4,700 yards, 46 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, I believe, the last I looked. And I know he kind of stumbled a little bit at the end.
Not kind of. Just admit it. Okay, Rocky, he stumbled, didn't he? He stumbled at the end. He did.
He stumbled. However, for the first 14 games of the season, he was far and away had the best stats, playing the schedule.
Okay, so why was it so close, Rocky? Why do you think it was so close? Because I think a lot of voters didn't want to vote for Stat Padford.
Well, I mean, I guess that's their choice, Rob. I don't know. geez, I mean, why did the Hall of Fame, why did they not vote in Bill Belichick?
They cheated.
I know your stance on that, but we don't need to open that can of worms.
No. We're good with that.
Yeah.
All right, you're a Stafford guy. I got
Wait, why you got to be a Stafford guy? He just simply saying what he thought he
he's a
saw.
Stafford guy. I'm
Okay.
Rocky. All right.
Rocky was Stafford guy.
Yes.
All right.
It's all right.
I was trying to, defend
Help
you
him
there,
out.
Rocky.
All right, James in Detroit. You're on the
Oh,
Odd
you already
Couple
know what
Fox
time it
Sports
is.
Radio. What's up, James? James.
2 stats, Rob.
Go ahead.
You hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead.
Your man Stafford rushed for 1 yard the whole season. Drake May rushed for 450.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay, I don't know.
Here.
I don't know if that's helping. Whose side is that
I know.
helping?
Who does that does that help? Are you a Stafford guy or a Drake May guy? I can't tell.
You can't tell. I say my man rushed for 1 yard. The other guy ran for 450.
All right,
But the same number, the difference
so they got it wrong, right? You think that Drake May should have
Of
won?
course.
Yes. Okay, I got you.
450 yards to 1?
I know it shouldn't have been. I don't know that one vote that went to Justin Herbert because he's 6'4" and looks like a
Okay,
quarterback.
that one was crazy. We
I'm
can sit up here and
sick.
argue about Stafford
I threw
and
up
Drake
in my
May.
mouth
The
when I
Justin
saw he
Herbert
got
one.
one vote.
That was an offensive line sympathizer.
That was
They
terrible.
were saying Justin
No,
Herbert.
that's what that was the argument is that he had no line in front of him and look
that
what
doesn't
he
make
did.
him an MVP. He was perfect. He had a good season, really good season. He ain't
Thanks,
the MVP.
James.
Stop
Appreciate it.
Stop it. I'd rather him give it to a running back over that.
877-99 on Fox.
No more calls.
All right.
I just think the two James, I
Rob,
believe it was in Detroit. Was that James in Detroit? I hear the rushing yards, and I think that's, but that I don't think that.
Well, when you
singularly
heard
makes
the
you that.
total, both of you guys.
I was shocked. I thought it'd be
Bob G, weren't you surprised
a
too that it
couple
was
more
one
distance.
vote?
Oh, I was pissed off
Why?
when I saw it last night because they were so close to doing it again.
Of doing the
flipping it.
Yeah,
That was
close.
that's embarrassing.
But
Because-
I agree. Because of the history of that
Exactly,
award. And
exactly.
they already did it to Lamar, which
did,
was
yep.
BS.
They flipped it Lamar. Lamar last year had 40 All-Pro votes and only got 22 MVP
Which is
votes.
which
right?
is
This
18 drop-off.
Yeah, this season, Stafford goes 31 All-Pro and 24 MVP votes. What changed? The All-Pro was done after the season.
It doesn't make
There
sense.
is nothing that could have changed your mind
Right.
that happened on the field in the regular season between when you voted for All-Pro and when you voted for MVP. So what you're telling me is that
last year
there's
again.
got to be a consistency. It doesn't make sense.
And
You can't be-
historically, it has been
Right,
consistent.
Right, very consistent.
So what I think you're seeing now, and it goes back to, Sam Monson was the guy who voted for Justin Herbert, friend of the show. So
And he-
when we get him on again, we'll give him crap
What was
about
his?
it.
Well, he
Let me
made
look up
he made the
Justin-
case about
The offensive line. He said, hey, that offensive line was horrible. His receivers were not great,
But that doesn't mean
But
you're the
that happens
MVP.
every year. Somebody has something
And so
on.
his argument, even if it's an okay argument, I don't think it's going to vote MVP, where he's like, hey, when I'm judging value and I look at everything that went wrong around him, that's why I picked him. I think it's a bad reasoning, but I understand it.
But
right?
it's a bad reason.
Right. So, but when it comes to flip-flopping, what you're trying to tell me is the guy who had the best season is what they determined with Matthew Stafford at the best season for All-Pro can't also be the most valuable player.
It does make sense.
So you're picking and choosing. So these analytics guys are jumping in and saying, hey, I like the numbers of this guy, so I'm going to vote him All-Pro, but the narrative is going to go to this guy. I don't think you should do that when it comes to voting.
And that's where we're getting with it. That's what happened years ago with like offensive player of the year, for instance. Like, why couldn't Matthew Stafford be offensive player of the year as well? They're starting to get to where we're getting that all pros be going to be divided.
No,
like,
but
I
the
like this
you know
quarterback
why?
because of this, but this guy's the MVP. We're going to start getting closer and closer to that becoming the
But
thing.
this is more about the participation trophy where they're trying to
I
spread
agree.
it to everybody.
This is the one time we agree.
He had such a great season. I want him to get
I don't-
left
he's
out.
gotta get something. He's
so
gotta
I
get
want to make
something.
sure he gets something. I want to make sure he gets something. I want to make sure like that's not how it should go. If somebody has like a great season offensively, why can't they sweep all three of them? They just had
Completely agree.
and the one with Lamar last year, and we talked about it before. That was the best season he ever had, and he won MVPs before.
How did he
And-
improve upon
right.
the year before he won MVP but didn't win MVP? And that goes to what we're saying. I think, that's not, I don't even want to say an argument per se, but my perspective when we kept talking Josh Allen. I was like, people are just going to go, well, it's just his time. He earned it.
That's not how it should go.
I'm agreeing with you,
Right,
but I know how people kind of, oh, look at that. He just, come along. Lamar will get another one. And you never know. What if Lamar's never fully healthy again? You know, doesn't give his best version of himself, and he gets robbed of one he should have had.
And this is something that the NFL historically has gotten correctly. Now, even though it's become a quarterback award, which you guys talked about with CMC, and we have issues with that, it's been very consistent. Hey, the guy who had the best season is going to win MVP from a quarterback position. The NBA was usually the one that had it backwards. Like, hey, I know that James Harden was putting up 32, 11, and 8, but, his team was third place, and we got to give it to this guy. Like, the NBA was the narrative league. The NFL was the production league. And now, all of a sudden, to your guys' point, the participation award, the nerds are going to vote for All-Pro with just the historical numbers, but the narrative is going to go to the MVP.
Last point for me, you're so right with the NBA. Still, to this day, drives me crazy that Kyle Korver is an all-star.
Right.
Because that Atlanta team was the number 1 seed in the East, and they were really good, and then they were like, we put 4 Atlanta Hawks in, including Kyle Korver. I don't like that. Just because you're the best team in the conference doesn't mean, to your point, that we got to automatically take 3 or 4 guys from your team. I don't like that at all. An all-star should be an all-star, should be an all-star. Not just, well, you're the 3rd or 4th best guy on a top-seeded team, so you got to be an all-star. I don't like that. All right, Rob, so they're watching us right now, which means another thing they can do is what?
They can subscribe. All you got to do is hit that button, subscribe to The Odd Couple for some of the best sports talk content in the nation.
Facts, and while you're at it, they can like, they can comment, they can share. Do all that for us. We appreciate it. Just do all that right up in here.